Are you ready to face your fears, or should I say, prepare for a fear extravaganza today? We're plunging headfirst into the abyss of anxiety and anticipation with the Rick and Morty Season 7 finale, Fear No Mort. This episode isn't just another wild ride in the cosmos, it's a deep dive into the darkest corners of the mind, where our favorite interdimensional duo confronts what scares them the most. From the mind-boggling depths of a fear hole to the tangled web of existential dread, we're unpacking every eerie and electrifying moment. So brace yourself as we jump into a carnival of nightmares where every turn is more frightful than the last, and every joke is a scream. And remember, spoilers lurk around every corner, so if you haven't seen the episode yet, consider this your fear warning.
This carnival of nightmares used to be scary, right?
We've seen too much.
All that and more on this episode of Mr. Know-It-All Reviews, Rick and Morty Season 7's finale, Fear No Mort. What's up, my know-it-alls? It's your nerdy best friend, Mr. Know-It-All, and I'm here to geek out with you over the most recent episode of Rick and Morty. But first, I want to shout out Baby Know-It-All for holding it down for her old man while I was dealing with a cold. It sucked, but I survived. Thanks, you guys, for making her feel welcome. I really appreciate it. If you missed last week's episode with her hosting, check it out by clicking the card right up there. This season has been a wild ride, and the last episode, Fear No Mort, is no exception. It's been a season of unpredictability, with each episode oscillating between wacky one-off adventures and major canonical shifts. And all I'm saying is that our beloved duo Rick and Morty have really evolved throughout this journey. So what's the big finale about? The episode puts Rick and Morty through their toughest challenge yet, facing their deepest fears. They stumble upon a carnival of nightmares, but being the seasoned adventurers they are, nothing really impresses them anymore. That is until a mysterious man in black pitches them something even scarier.
And did you know Earth is the home of the single scariest place in the galaxy? I can show you if you'd like.
We were headed that way anyway.
This man leads them to a Denny's. Yes, you heard that right, a Denny's, where they find out about the fear hole in the men's bathroom. This hole isn't your average pit. It shows people their greatest fears and supposedly makes them fearless once they come out.
Here's how it works. You jump in, the hole manifests your greatest fear. You conquer that fear and come out, well, fearless. And you get your picture on the wall.
Rick and Morty, ever the daredevils, decide to jump in with Morty taking the lead. Inside, they face nightmarish creatures, and after a fierce battle, they emerge from the hole, seemingly victorious.
Oh man, we both our pants.
Christ.
What a f***ing ride.
My butt back, it's in my butt.
Yeah, on the wall, mother.
It's not worth it, not worth it.
But wait, oh trust me, it gets weirder. Younger Rick holding Diane crashes through the ceiling, urging them to take care of an almost killed Diane, then dies. The Smith family is understandably shocked, but our duo suspects they're still inside the fear hole.
We're clearly still in the
That's
hole.
exactly what I was thinking.
You never left the hole?
Because you can't really be scared of anything if you know you're
Still
still
in
in
the
the hole.
As they try to discern reality from illusion, Rick hypothesizes that they're experiencing Morty's greatest fear.
Your greatest fear is me getting Diane back and being happy again.
What? Why?
Because then I won't need you. Look how scared you're getting just talking about
I'm
it.
not scared, I'm insulted.
To test this theory, Rick immerses himself in the scenario. Meanwhile, Diane and Beth are left bewildered as Rick callously dismisses their reality.
Dad, you're traumatizing her.
What? It's my face too. And now Diane gets to understand that I'm still sexy and a genius.
You were right, Rick. I'm really terrified right now.
Rick's efforts to reconnect with Diane involve building a robot that serenades and serves her breakfast. This gesture that's apparently reminiscent of their past temporarily wins Diane over. The emotional roller coaster continues with a zoo visit, drinks, and heartfelt confessions. The emotional authenticity of this moment is actually kind of startling, even in the bizarre circumstances that they're under. As Rick grows increasingly ill, a result of the fear hole feeding on him, Morty becomes desperate. He seeks out the man in black at Denny's, who responds cryptically.
I doubt your grandpa has more fear than the average asshole in a Denny's. If anything, he seems pretty brave. Certainly not afraid to die. Maybe that makes his fear extra delicious.
In a drastic move, Morty confronts his own fears to save Rick. This includes picking up a spider, revealing embarrassing secrets at school, and even starring naked in a school play. As they try to break free from the fear hole's grasp, Rick and Morty face several iterations of their fears. Time passes in a montage, showing them aging, experiencing life's milestones, continually asking the questions about what is the nature of their reality.
But time alone can't heal this heart of mine. You can't go back.
The climax reveals a profound realization for Morty: his fear of Rick never acknowledging his importance. Morty confronts this fear, understanding that the real Rick never entered the hole with him. After a series of mind-bending events, Morty wakes up in the original fear hole with Rick waiting outside.
Your fear of relying on Rick has been delicious.
Dear God! Morty, how was it?
Oh, jeez.
Rick explains the impossibility of facing two people's fears at once. This leads to a touching moment where Morty, seeking validation of his irreplaceability, embraces Rick, understanding he's back in reality.
Am I irreplaceable?
I mean, define irreplaceable.
That's good. Good. I'm back.
This episode wraps up with Rick placing a photo of Morty on the Hall of Fame of those who braved the fear hole. And in the Rick and Morty fashion, we get a post-credit scene featuring Mr. Poopybutthole. Turns out he stole a portal gun and replaces a happily married version of himself in another universe, ending the episode on a note of existential duplicity. Of course, that's not good enough for the likes of Rick and Morty. The very final moment features Mrs. Poopybutthole giving her husband the proverbial stink eye. Will this prove to be another unresolved finale ending, or will we revisit this in seasons to come? Tell me what you think in the comments below. So there you go. Now you know, and if knowing is half the battle, you're halfway to being a know-it-all yourself. What's a know-it-all index for the Rick and Morty Season 7 finale? Fear No Mort is a mind-bending journey through fear, reality, and the complex relationships between Rick and Morty. It's an episode that not only entertains, but also makes us ponder the deeper aspects of their characters. For me, this episode is a solid 9 out of 10. It's a perfect blend of existential dread, emotional depth, and the signature Rick and Morty weirdness. So what did you think of this final episode of Season 7? Drop your thoughts in the comments. So now it's time for a brand new thing I'm going to call Pros and Cons. All right, let's dive into the pros and cons of the Rick and Morty Season 7 finale, Fear No Mort. Starting with the pros, this episode really shines with its character development. We see Rick and Morty not just hopping through another adventure, but actually facing their deepest fears. It's not every day you see these two characters confront something as profound as their innermost anxieties. The way they handle the fear hole challenge is both engaging and revealing, offering us a deeper glimpse into their psyches. Another standout aspect is the episode's creativity. The concept of a fear hole located in Denny's bathroom is a classic Rick and Morty bizarre, unexpected, and oddly thought-provoking plus. The Carnival of Nightmares setting, that's visual storytelling at its finest, blending the show's signature absurdity with a darker, more introspective tone. Now, onto the cons. Despite the episode's strength, it does tread a fine line with its complexity. The multiple layers of fear and reality can be a bit of a brain twister, while this complexity, we'll call it that, is part of the show's charm. it might leave some viewers feeling a bit lost in the maze of Rick and Morty's fears. Another potential downside is the emotional heaviness of the episode. It's a departure from the usual lighthearted, albeit darkly humorous tone of the series. The shift is brilliantly executed, but it might not be everyone's cup of tea, especially for fans who tune in for the show's more straightforward comedic escapades. Fear No Mort is a beautifully crafted finale that delves into deep each of the characters' exploration and presents a unique creative challenge for our protagonist. But its complexity and emotional depth might be a bit overwhelming for some viewers, straying from the traditional Rick and Morty formula. But in true show fashion, it pushes the boundaries in a way that's both intriguing and kind of thought-provoking. That's going to do it for this episode of Rick and Morty. What did you think of this season finale? Heck, what did you think of the season overall? From Rick's finally defeating his nemesis to the more streamlined storytelling. Whatever your thoughts, jump down to the comment section and let's discuss. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you aren't already for all the latest from Rick and Morty. For all of us here at the Know-It-All Nation, I'm Mr. Know-It-All. Until next time, never forget, everyone loves a know-it-all.